Right, down.
Right, down towards the
Right, therefore the Earth is flat. I agree with you. Everything falls down, therefore the Earth is flat. I agree.
No.
Okay, so you just said if the Earth was a globe,
why would things fall down if the Earth was flat? Why would they go sideways?
I already told you. Pay attention. Pay attention. I already told you that this was modeled on a flat surface, and it doesn't change anything. Things still experience the fall down. Okay, down perpendicular to horizontal, dude. What don't you understand? Why in the world?
What I don't understand is because.
Why do you think things would fall sideways? Why are you even bringing this up, dude? Please, for the love of God, elucidate that point.
What the fuck?
Because why wouldn't they?
Were flat, why would things just not just fly in any direction? Like, you have to have a sphere because the mass plus the spinning pulls things to the center.
No, spinning has nothing to do with gravity in your worldview, dude. What is wrong with you? I think you're confused. Bro. I'm not trying to be offensive here, but I think you're confused, dude. Spinning has nothing to do with gravity in your worldview. I don't know what you're trying to talk
forget
about.
The spinning.
Unless you don't believe. Okay, so why is it that a flat object can't attract things to it? Why not?
Because, okay, maybe it could, but no thing is flat. Like, no planet is flat. We don't observe that. We don't observe that.
Yeah. So let me ask you. Let me get this to you, bro. Let me get this to you, Carrot Doctor. So all the other things you observe that aren't the Earth are something that the Earth isn't. Therefore, the Earth is something. How does that follow logically?
I wasn't trying
Carrot
to say
Carrot
that.
Doctor, you were attempting to slip a non sequitur conclusion under my radar without me noticing, and that didn't fly.
Okay. So
think about what you said. Other things that are not the Earth are this. Therefore, the Earth is this. That makes zero sense to me.
Okay, so let's say we were on a flat Earth and gravity was pulling everything down.
Yep. Then everything would fall down. Good job.
What would happen as you walk to the edge of the Earth?
Okay, so here's the problem, dude. Here's the problem: is you didn't look at the paper I posted. You're imagining a Earth that has no depth. You're imagining an Earth that has no depth and no disparate distribution of mass. So in your worldview, it's the distribution of mass that causes this thing. So if you have a flat surface that has depth to it with a disparate distribution of mass, you can model things falling down with your mass attracts mass gravity. It works just fine. It's no problem at all.
Okay, but that didn't answer my question.
Yes, you're not going to tilt. You're not going to tilt sideways because the center of mass isn't the center of a disc, dude. So no, you're not going to tilt sideways, just like the professor.
I never said anything about tilting sideways. I said, okay, imagine we're on a flat Earth, like you claim, and there's gravity. What would be the effect, or what would happen as you walk or travel towards the end or edge of that?
Yeah, the same thing that happens everywhere, dude. When you drop something, it would fall down.
Imagine this. He wants to talk about everything.
Hold on, bro. Yeah, the point is, dude, is that you're trying to say that you wouldn't be diagonal, but what you're actually trying to say is that the center of mass would be way over there in the center, and as you go towards the edge, gravity would start pulling you sideways, which means you have to walk at an angle, which is exactly what I said. I knew what you were going to argue before you argued it, because it's the same tired nonsense argument I've heard for the past 10 years.
Wait, are we back in 2015?
Yeah, so for example, friend, your argument relies on a nonsensical strawman caricature of the Earth as essentially a flat disk with no major depth and no mass distribution. Whereas the university professor who wrote a paper about it wasn't so dumb, and he actually put in there a thick Earth, like a cylinder kind, and has different mass distribution. So your thing only works, dude, as an argument if you make a canard of the concept of a flat Earth. So no, gravity doesn't prove the Earth is a globe. And it works just fine if the Earth is flat, and it's actually irrelevant to the shape of the Earth.
So, so if gravity pulls perpendicular to the surface, how does it...
Like everyone experiences.
Right.
Holy crap, dude.
The mass distribution would be different.
Hey, dude, were you paying attention at all to what I said?
He wasn't listening to anything you said, AI.
I know what it is, because I went to school and I learned these things.
No, you don't know. No, you don't know, because you paid attention to zero things that I said, dude. Zero. You're just waiting to give your regurgitated response that you learned a long time ago and never actually thought about.
Okay, I'm thinking about it right now.
Well, and here you are revisiting it because you didn't understand.
So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you one more time, dude. Okay. In the paper that I posted, the guy modeled exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he modeled exactly what you're talking about with the attempts to see how what you're saying, whether that would be true or not. And the way he modeled it, you don't get that. Everywhere you go on the surface, down is down. There's no sideways down. There's no diagonal down. Maybe that's because we're on a sphere? No, it's because he modeled a flat surface with a disparate distribution of a thick cylinder base, dude. For goodness sakes, are you like, you can't hear? Do you have like a Do you have
I
do you
hear
have
what
a
you're
hearing
saying, but I'm
impediment?
not understanding it because it's so like schizophrenic.
Oh boy.
What are you trying to say?
Dude. Yeah, it's schizophrenic, dude. Okay, if you have a flat surface, right? Is it zero-dimensionally thick, or is it actually have thickness to it? Is it thick or thin?
Okay, if it had thickness, what would that change? What? Okay.
Okay, now that it has thickness, now that it has thickness, distribute the mass in a manner that causes it to wane or gain as you go towards the edges, dude. Which is exactly what the guy did.
Okay.
I don't think you get it, dude.
I don't really understand that. No, I don't get it.
I know. Maybe you should read the paper, or get on my level. One of those two things.
Okay, all right. Okay. So
Okay, look, bro, you're imagining essentially a disc where the gravity is pulling towards the center of a spoke, like on a bike wheel, dude. And so
right, like how everyone understands. So if you were on a flat
no, not how everyone understands.
The direction would start tilting inward.
No, that's only if there's, dude. That's only if there's no depth, dude. What don't you understand about that?
I don't understand how giving that shape depth at the edge would change that. Like what? I guess what shape are you describing?
It would change, dude. It would change the distribution of mass relative to your location. It would change all the
maybe
vectors.
it would, but that's not the shape of the Earth.
How do you know that?
You have to prove that. You have to like show.
Hold on. No, hold on, friend. You finally got it. No, Creation Bear. He finally got it. Claims about gravity don't prove the shape of the Earth. He just admitted it. Great job, Carrot Doctor. You've advanced the level.
Does he understand it though?
Oh, but yeah, only you
I don't because
not to prove it.
No, I do it.
Gravity provides strong evidence for the Earth's sphere, Earth's shape as a sphere.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a claim, bro. You're not. What are you talking about?
Bro. Okay, all right.
Bro.
Okay.
You guys are talking to a brick.
Dude, you have a concept of how gravity works on a sphere.
I just want to get like a simple.
Yeah, dude. You have a concept of how gravity works on a sphere. I told you the same concept can apply to flat Earth. You then said, well, you would have to prove that the Earth is actually flat. The same applies to you. You'd have to prove the Earth is actually curved. So what we need to do is go to the surface and see whether it's curved or not. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't even think we need to do that, but we can do that. We can go to the surface and see if the Earth is curved.
Oh, so we don't need to actually measure or test the thing itself to see if it's curved. We can just make up stories.
Just rely on one little like math thing that you want to do. Like
that's one of the many that you can rely on. Absolutely, actually.
So look, guys, if a thing is flat and I say it's a globe, we don't need to rely on the fact that we could just measure whether it's flat or a globe to decide whether it's a globe.
Okay.
Exactly.
Why does everyone on Earth think the Earth is a globe? I just want to know that.
No, not everyone thinks that.
Why do like 99% of people that like go to school and graduate
that's still wrong.
Question that? You don't think 99+% of the world thinks the Earth is
absolutely not? That's an assumption.
No, there's like 30 million. I think there's like 3 million flat earthers in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me ask you, what
getting all the religions, bro?
Let me ask you.
I think it's more like 11 million. I think it's 11 million. I'll find that reference for you.
I mean, he made a good question. Why does everybody that goes to school think that the Earth is a globe? Then
that's not true. Though.
Would that not make it that they're
indoctrinating?
My words, yeah. Doesn't it make it obvious that they are teaching this and indoctrinating people to believe that the Earth is a globe?
There you go.
Okay, let's assume they are, but why would they do that? Like, what could be the incentive? Or like, why would they?
Control population, maybe.
The teacher might not be incentivized for nothing other than that she's just teaching what the curriculum is.
Speculation again. Isn't that the pattern here? Nothing but speculation.
Hey, friend. Before we go on, Carrot Doctor, we actually have a teacher of that very same vein who was a science teacher and was teaching kids about things. Then started to teach about the globe Earth versus the flat Earth and started to realize that the claims were actually wrong. And then she became a flat Earther. She's here now. In fact, right now she's going to get you the study about how there's 11 million flat Earthers in Brazil. And that's not even the other countries, dude.
Okay. But it's still a minority.
Yeah, 1 in 5.
1 in 5.
What's your point? Yeah, what's your point?
1 in 5 of the Earth.
So, of the Brazilians.
Oh, okay, of Brazil.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying your 99% is wrong, but nonetheless.
Okay,
popularity does.
A majority of people believe and don't even question the Earth being a sphere.
Of course.
Does that make it true? Does that make it true when objective evidence?
Okay, no, I agree.
Shows that there is no curve.
Okay, I disagree on your last thing that you said, but I do agree that just a majority of people thinking something doesn't make it so. But
so then, what's your point?
Disagree that there's no curve. So you have measured a
I
curve somewhere?
1000%, like, you could put a gun to my head, I would tell you that the Earth is curved.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have
The
no
Earth
proof.
is 100%.
wow.
You would die on
That's
that.
very sad. Very sad. Because you don't have any evidence, though, right? Like, where's your evidence? Where's the curve?
That's
Google Earth.
That was
What?
a
Google Earth is my evidence. Google Earth. Pull up Google Earth.
That's a
Dude,
cartoon.
that's your
That should only be
you
lying.
know, if
No,
my
that's not
eyeballs
mine.
can't see the curve, then it's flat. If my eyes don't see it,
Okay,
You know that Google
Giganarf.
Earth- you know
We
that
don't
Google
need a
Earth-
peanut gallery right now.
You know that Google Earth, it's stitched together by a model, right?
Well, yeah, it's stitched together using
Okay.
satellite images, not like
Yeah,
just
they
a
take
made-up
flat
model.
images. They take flat images and accommodate it to the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not a picture of the globe. They model the globe and stitch it together.
Okay, Elbow TV, why does it work in real life? Why can I choose 2 different locations, plot it out on my Google Maps, and then drive from one city to another city, and it works perfectly, and it's the exact distance they say?
You're just going from point A to point B. It doesn't make the Earth a globe just because you went and
Creation
traveled
Bear,
from
do you
point
not
to point B.
understand that that is like a direct follow-up point to my previous point?
Okay, imagine if I said I went from point A to point B, therefore it's flat.
Yeah, it wouldn't match up with the Earth's like Google Maps that shows it's a sphere.
What are you talking about? Oh,
Google
Maps. Hold on.
Okay, listen, hold up, real quick, real easy. If on Google Maps it's saying it's using the model of a globe, and it says, hey, from Phoenix to Los Angeles, it's this many miles. On a sphere, that'd be perfectly normal distance, everything would check out. I drive from Phoenix to LA, it would check out. But if it was on a flat surface, the distance would be changed, would it not?
Oh, no, it wouldn't.
Why would it change?
Because
I mean,
you're unrounding the, like, instead of it being a sphere, it's straight.
Do they have any radius in their calculation of the time and distance?
Radius calculations?
Right. Those are called
Probably
RNA,
not.
isn't it? Exactly. So then,
Probably
why would
not.
you say? Then why would you think that it takes account for the radius of the Earth, for the globular shape of the Earth?
It takes into account the shape of the Earth because that's the shape of the Earth. And when I
No, it
drive
doesn't.
from a city
There's
to another
nothing.
city,
There's nothing in their calculations that has to do with the radius.
does that? Okay, I don't think
It's just
that
a linear
It's
distance.
just from point A
Linear
to point B.
distance, dude.
Yep, from point A to point B in a linear distance.
But do you understand that there would be a discrepancy if they
No,
were
it wouldn't,
showing it
because-
as
No,
if they were
because
showing it
all,
and you
all maps are flat maps.
okay, but the Earth is a sphere
No,
and
you
that's
haven't proven
reflected
that
in
yet.
the maps.
No, you haven't proven that yet.
I don't think it's on me to prove it. I think it's on
Yes,
you guys
it
to
is.
prove the Earth
Your
is flat.
claim. It's your claim, dude. What are you talking about?
The Earth and science and all of humanity.
The Earth
claim
and
is that
science.
The Earth is a sphere.
Earth and science. You think science
Earth doesn't
proves
play
shapes?
good.
You're taking all of human discovery, all of human scientific knowledge, and you're taking a
Stop
spin
saying
on it
all. You
and
can't even
going,
name one.
fuck all of
Stop it.
humanity. This is
Stop
a
it.
flat.
Dude, dude, wait a minute, dude. Are 1 in 5 Brazilians not human?
That's racist, dude.
I never said
Yeah,
that.
that's racist, bro. Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
said
you're
all
saying-
of humanity.
You're saying
You said
4
all
out
of
of 5
humanity
Brazilians
thinks the
can't
Earth
do
is a
science?
globe. No, dude, what I'm
So
saying
what you're
is
saying
what
is
they
the
did.
other 4/5 of Brazilians can't do basic science?
Dude, let's see you do some science. Do some science for us.
What
Science
science do
boys.
you want me to do? What science do you want me to do?
I don't know. Dude, pick anything that's science and let us know what it is.
Okay. I'm sad that your life on baseless claim of the fantasy globe. That's just a hilarious.
I am sad because you said gun to your head, you'd still stick to the globe. And yet, do you have objective?
No, it's a globe.
How
It's
do you
not
know
know that.
where?
Okay.
Okay, can you please let me speak for like 3 seconds?
Go ahead.
Please, please present your evidence and measurements of curvature.
Okay, that's not how I would prove the Earth is a sphere because I'm not
That's how you
good
would
at
prove
like
it, yes.
curvature math and stuff like
That
that.
is exactly how you would
That
prove
is
it.
one way you could prove it, Creation Bear. But
That's
I
the only way you need to prove
gravity
it.
because that's just such an apparent, obvious
Oh
like
my god.
gravity
It's not obvious.
forces every object to be a sphere. Like
No, it doesn't, dude. You don't even know what gravity is.
no,
Just
then
stop.
why does
Holy
every
crap.
single planet we look at?
We're
it's
not a
all
planet.
spherical. Moons.
Earth isn't even a planet.
Earth is not a planet. Earth is not a planet.
Correct.
Okay, we've gotten a new.
Newsflash.
What is
Yeah,
it then? What is it then? A piece of cheese? What is
He
Earth?
just did a full 360 fucking reset.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Reset.
Creation Bear.
Default.
Creation Bear. What is
Yeah.
Earth if it's not a planet?
It's not in outer space.
Okay, where is it then? Where are we? Are we in a
the Earth is
simulation?
where you think the Earth is an object in a giant place floating around. Newsflash.
Yeah.
Outer space isn't even real, first of all, and it's not a planet.
Oh.
Well, look at planets. Planets move. Earth doesn't
How
move.
do you have internet then if there's no satellite?
crap, dude. Holy crap, dude.
What the fuck?
You wouldn't let me finish. Okay, if there was
Stop
no space,
it, dude.
how would we
Listen, you
send...
earlier. Okay, we're not going to pretend that you didn't say we could measure the curvature. That's all you need to do.
Okay,
So you
I don't want to do that because I'm not great
Yeah, hold on,
at...
Carrot Doctor. Carrot Doctor, I'm going to answer your question. I got to put you on mute so you don't talk, so that everyone doesn't try
Stuff
to jump
obvious
in.
where internet
Okay,
comes
so
from.
the question you were about to ask is how do you have the internet without satellites? Well, have you ever heard of these big ships? They're called cable ships. They are a giant ship, and in the center of them, they have this huge spool of cable. And then they lay it on the floor of the ocean, and then the internet goes through that cable, bro. That's how it works, in case you didn't know. All right, I'm going to mute you so you can thank me for teaching you something. Go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for muting me. I needed to be silent for a couple seconds.
Facts.
So, when your phone is wirelessly picking up data...
Oh my god.
Here we go. Here we go.
We don't believe in satellites.
All right, I got to mute you again, bro. Okay, so the cellular network is based on cellular towers, dude. They have a limited range, a very limited range.
Correct.
It's been advanced since it began. But if you notice, like, you lose signal, and then when you're driving, then you get it back. You lose signal, then you get it back. That's because you're swapping towers. It's just towers, literally fixed to the ground. Okay, so the regular average cell phone has nothing to do with satellites, dude. Okay.
I think like 90%. Is it 90% of communications run through the cables?
Do you think that connection when you go camping if it was satellites? You would have connection all the time if it was satellites.
Yo.
He's deafened himself.
Okay, I deafen because like I don't want to be muted, and then like that's
You're
kind
gonna
of
get
mean
muted
to do that.
All right, dude. No, dude. We mute people around here. Just pay attention. We mute people around here occasionally. For example, I clearly said I'm muting you so that you won't speak through me, so that other people won't chomp out the bit, so that I can speak and be heard. That's my prerogative, dude. If you don't like that you're occasionally muted, you're going to protest deafen. Then we're just going to kick you out of our room, dude. That simple.
Period.
Not a big deal to get muted occasionally.
I don't like the feeling of being silenced, and like I will be quiet and let you say.
Okay, hold on there. Hold on, bro. Let me mute Creation Bear real quick. Let's see if he spazzes. All right, let me unmute him real quick. Let's see if he survived. Creation Bear, you still with us? You alive? You didn't bleed out?
AI, are you fucking serious? Oh my god, I feel like you shouldn't.
I know, right?
Okay. Here's the thing.
Carrot, let me just tell you one little thing. He clearly told you he was muting you to keep everybody else quiet because you say like so incredibly outrageous things that we just like can't resist from reacting. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. You're just you're a trigger. So
I understand.
He was trying to keep decorum in the room. You don't have to take it personally. Yeah, there you go.
I'm an extremely respectful person. I'm not. You're not going to hear me like call you an idiot, and I'm not going to like talk over you guys because
no one else has done that here either, though. Yeah.
Correct. Yes, we've had a very cordial back and forth, and I like that.
Yes.
But when I get silenced, and then you're like, "Let me explain the internet to you," like that's I'm going to protest.
I'm going to stop talking about that now. Okay. All right. That's over and done.
Man, dude. Yeah, bro.
Let's move on. So, what AI said? Do you agree with that about cell towers? And then we can move off all that stuff because we don't require satellites, right?
Well, okay.
Cell phones use towers.
Okay, I understand what he was trying to say, but I disagree because there's a scenario where cables cannot. Okay, go ahead.
Incorrect. 99% of all data and communication run through those cables. 99%.
Towers.
Yep, and then cell phones use towers, not satellites.
But the satellites connect
account for
information from one area to another. Like,
no, they're all 99. Listen to me. 99%. 99% run through
you can look at this
all the
yourself.
data and communication run through those cables.
Here, I'm sending you a video right now of satellite hoax. Okay.
He loves that.
Satellite hoax. All right, let's see it.
Well, no, it's about 8 minutes, so you don't have to do this on your own time. I send it directly to you.
But there is also, right, so what you call satellites and what we call satellites, they're different things, right? But we can agree that there are things in the sky that, there are things in the sky that communicate with each other, right? And we communicate with, right? So NASA had this thing called the Satelloon program, and it's there, right? It's on their website. They called it the gold standard of communication. So what they did was they had these helium balloons that they filled up. They were the size of football fields. That was their description. And they said they can move them around or keep them geostationary by increasing their altitude. getting to different winds, different directions, and they can keep them geostationary. Now, they love this. They said it was the gold standard. Now, if you say that something's a gold standard, you're going to keep using it, aren't you? They were doing this stuff in the 1940s. I think even the 1930s was the first Satelloon.
Right.
So they've had this technology for a very long time. Now, we can prove that, but you can't prove that there's a big metal box falling around the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour. That's a different claim.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you say satellites, like, oh, we have satellites, therefore globe, that's not the case. Not necessarily the case. You can plead your case if you'd like and try and prove satellites, but we do have communication in the skies.
I also posted a Newsweek article about the percentage of communication done by.
But that wouldn't be able to connect a remote area.
Okay, I just told you. In addition, they've had them since the early 1900s.
Are you talking about satellites that are orbiting in space, or are you talking about something else?
There's no satellites orbiting.
Holy crap, dude!
Oh my god!
No, hold on, Fred. I'm gonna give you a chance, bro. He just talked about a high altitude transponder platform that receives signals and rebroadcasts them. He spent like a good 2 minutes talking to you about it. What was that thing he was talking about? Can you answer?
Right. My question was,
no.
Space,
You gotta answer the question,
Earth? Like in the atmosphere.
Okay, you got to answer the question to pass go, brother.
He was talking about technology we had from the 50s that was described as a satellite, but I wanted to know if that was in space or on Earth.
Holy crap. What were they made out of, dude? What were these things made out of?
Metal?
Balloons, dude. Helium balloons.
He told you they were gas-filled balloons, dude. What's wrong with you, bro? Were you not paying attention?
No, he's not listening.
I didn't remember
too much information.
I didn't remember.
It's too much information.
That was the main it's really the whole point. You see, here's the problem with guys like you, bro. You want us to take you seriously with this, oh, I respect you and I wouldn't talk over you. But he's literally telling you all this good information that's actually salient to the whole point, and you're just completely ignoring him.
Okay. What we were talking about was internet, and then he brought up gas balloons. That's not
right. Holy fuck, dude! Listen, a balloon that's high up that can carry a payload, and that payload is a receiver retransmitter that carries the internet signal that it receives from the ground and then rebroadcasts it somewhere else. Why would that not be relevant to this conversation?
Okay, that's relevant,
possible.
but that's possible and that's relevant, but that's not what I'm trying to get to.
We said I'm trying to say. Okay, let me just rewind the tape because you've lost the thread. I think I said space is not real. You're like, but there's satellites. Well, we have tech in the sky. Doesn't have to be in outer space.
Oh my god!
Saying that there's satellites doesn't mean there's outer space, bro.
Yeah, it's in the sky.
Exactly. It would need propulsion.
It's already
in the sky.
Hello.
One more wellness check. Hold on, Carrot Doctor. Carrot Doctor, I got to do a wellness check. Okay.
Okay.
I might have to prescribe you. I might have to just prescribe for you some memory medication. So I'm not sure yet.
Need some of those
check this out. Yeah, like the focus factor. So check this out, bro. He explained how the things move and what keeps them aloft and how they can be relocated. Did you miss that part?
No, I got that part. I got it re-explained to me. I get that.
Right. So then they don't need propulsion systems as if they don't have them because he already explained to you that they have them.
Okay, but now that it's the modern day, we have satellites that are in space. No. We don't have satellites orbiting the planet, giving us the internet and other things.
There is no outer space, bro.
So what are meteors? Like, where do meteors come from?
When I was telling you about the Satelloons, I asked you, I said, these things we can prove, right? Now, Can you prove that there are satellites in the vacuum of outer space falling around the planet at 17,000 miles per hour?
Yeah, that's how we get images from space.
Prove that they're out there.
I posted a few images.
We've got the ISS.
I posted a few images. Check it out. Check them out.
ISS. Those are some pretty interesting balloons.
They're gold standard.
Nice
on
NASA.
Satelloons, bro. That's what actually you can see. Can you give me a picture of a satellite in space?
I could, but you would probably come back and say that's CGI or that's fake.
Just get the non-CGI one. Just get the non-CGI one.
Yeah, find me a picture of a satellite in space.
Oh, wait.
Okay, hold on. Just bear with me. Hold
on your seat,
4K of Earth.
Satellites in space.
No, not of Earth. Of the satellite.
Let's see if it also shows the satellite.
Yeah. He's looking for the first time, chat.
It would be proof that, I mean...
No, just get the satellite. The non-CGI one.
I mean, I don't think this is CGI, but you guys probably might.
But is it of a satellite?
Yeah, it's a NASA live stream.
No. Does he know what you're asking? No. Not of Earth, of the satellite.
Yeah, it shows parts of the satellite. It shows like the wing or whatever.
Dude.
But all right, the ISS is claimed to be at 240 miles up, right? What percentage of the Earth do you can see from there?
I don't know. A big chunk?
Just under 3%. Now, what do they show you when in those images?
Okay, so let's say that's true. That is
true.
Okay, so then why would they be showing you more than 3% if they use that math?
Yeah, why would they? Why would they be doing that?
So you think they're just like blatantly lying like that?
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, that's like so impossible to believe. That's like...
Okay, so can you show us, seeing as it's your claim that that's the image of Earth from the ISS, can you show us how that is verified?
I mean, the word of the government and the word of...
That's not a verification process.
What do you want as verification? Like, what would be valid?
Daddy said...
Look at that video I just posted, Carrot. It's just the satellite right there from Brazil that they found. And it's on a balloon as well. And there's actually 2 of them I sent.
Satellites hoax exposed.
I mean, this is part of a big
we're
video.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, well, you've got NASA. You say the government always tells the truth. So
I never said the government. I never said that. I never said that.
Well, you said.
Tell me how a balloon works in space.
Okay, you will never hear me say the government always.
Wait, hold on. Tell me how a balloon would work in space.
I just posted.
Wait, okay, hold on.
I just posted one of
Let's completely drop all this satellite stuff. Wasn't there an experiment?
Okay. After you get proof, it's just drop it. Okay.
Well, it's like I think we're at an impasse on the satellite thing.
No, okay.
No, you're just a fool.
Don't know.
You're sending TikTok videos about some
random a video.
Oh my
from
god!
NASA's own YouTube channel, NASA Glenn Center, of them launching a Satelloon.
Do you guys remember the final experiment? Like there was
Here we go.
Yeah, so 24 hours.
Didn't they take like flat earthers down to Antarctica and do a 24-hour live stream?
Hold on. Before we go back to that, are you conceding? Because first you were questioning the evidence presented because it was on TikTok. Then Elbow showed you the Satelloons right from NASA. So you're conceding that point that they are putting these balloons.
Sure. Let's concede all that. Sure.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead with your next question.
Sure.
Okay. So the final experiment where they took a couple flat earthers down to Antarctica and they live streamed the sun for 24 hours, never setting.
Yeah, can you put that in an argument form? So the Earth is a globe because...
So Antarctica is on the southernmost point, like that's the southernmost continent. And if the Earth were a sphere, you'd see the sun never setting in the summertime, because that's when that part of the Earth
is a sphere?
the sun.
So how does this prove it's a sphere? Sorry?
All right, let me get it into a format that will be really, really like easy to say and like easy to understand.
Okay.
How does the sun never setting?
Chat GPT.
It's gonna be easy to say what you're saying. It's the truth.
Prove the Earth is a sphere.
Also, while you're looking that up, does the sun set on flat Earth? By the way.
Well, because I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't live on flat Earth.
Does the sun set on flat Earth?
I wouldn't know. I don't live on flat Earth. That's what I just said.
Yeah, you do.
The sun doesn't go under the Earth, so it doesn't set down below the Earth. So it's always above the Earth. So did the sun set in Antarctica?
No.
Cooked. Well, there you go.
Summer. No, it doesn't.
Well, there you go. Right?
That was an argument. Have you got the argument?
Okay. Yes. Only a sphere allows 24-hour daylight at the pole. On a globe, as Earth rotates, the polar regions experience months of constant sunlight or darkness, depending on the tilt. A flat Earth model can't realistically explain...
Depending on the tilt. Hear yourself. How is there tilt on flat Earth?
There's
not a flat Earth. That's my point.
Dude.
Okay,
No,
let me get
that makes no sense. What are you talking about?
There's tilt.
So you just
right there.
There's no tilt on a flat Earth. I mean, there might be.
Exactly.
I don't live on a flat Earth.
And you just straw man a model.
Okay, what you guys did was you guys cut me off.
What are you talking about? You got to stop the whole argument.
You want me to restart the whole argument?
No,
please don't.
Okay. Yeah, because you're presuming a model, right? You're saying that because what they're saying is that this is your map.
I'm using what humanity has. Okay,
I
go
know,
ahead.
but the AI is wrong. Because as a flat earther, we don't have a map or a model. So you can't say...
because you know why you don't have a map or a model? Because you don't believe that the
horizon remains horizontal.
Why you would be able to show us a model that the Earth is flat and that there's actually a model that where you can show like 24-hour seconds and in the south, but you can't.
Hold on, Nancy.
Wait, Guardian, why are you so why are you so
mad?
Spun out of control.
What the problem
because you fucking can't do it. So show me.
Hold on, Nancy.
I'm on your side if you can show me, but you won't. I know you won't. You will not show me a model where you can have
Betty. Betty, just relax.
That guy's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Karen, you were saying something.
Okay. I was getting through why this phenomenon only works on a spherical Earth. I was trying to explain that.
Yeah, and then you strawman a map.
Let me give me like 45 seconds to get through this point. Okay. Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees on its axis. During Antarctic summer...
66.6.
Can I just get through the point? Can I get through the point?
Imagine saying that, though. The Earth is tilted. That's retarded, but go ahead.
Okay, we know the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees on its axis.
You don't know that, but...
Let me just get through the point without going, that's wrong. I don't believe in that. During Antarctic summer, the South Pole is tilted towards the sun. Because of this tilt and Earth's curvature, the sun remains above the horizon for people near the South Pole. Only a sphere allows 24-hour daylight at the pole. On a globe, as Earth rotates, the polar regions experience months of constant sunlight or darkness depending on the tilt. A flat Earth can't realistically explain how the sun would circle in the sky without setting, especially below the equator. Flat Earth models usually show the sun as a spotlight rotating over a flat disk, but in those models,
that's fucking cap.
Antarctica would always see
can't explain how a sun is circling over the sky. What do you mean?
Finish. Oh my
you shouldn't finish, honestly, because you're just reading off lore, and then you're finding a straw man.
Bro, okay, it's like 20-1 up in here. I'm allowed to use AI. Come on.
No, you can use AI that's for you though, but you don't need to read us the lore like we've never heard that before. Pretty much everyone used to believe what you just said, but then you got into the flat Earth straw man, that like it's a disc with a light shining above it. That's not even our position. It's cap what you're reading, and that's lore also.
Okay.
You would need when they say because of Earth's curvature, that's why we need to prove that there's Earth's curvature, which we're still waiting for.
Let me just
That's really what it all comes down to.
Let me know when you're done.
Curvature, then nothing.
All right, I'm about to finish. I need like 20 more seconds. Summary. The midnight sun in Antarctica only happens because the Earth is tilted.
You already said that.
A flat Earth model can't explain how sunlight would reach and stay over the South Pole continuously for weeks, but the spherical model predicts and explains it perfectly. So, my question
you already said that.
Okay, now I'm done reading the ChatGPT. My question is, how would the sun continuously stay and rotate 360 degrees in the sky around Antarctica in the month of summer if the Earth was not spherical? How would that happen on a flat Earth?
Might as well ask the robot you're talking to.
You want me to ask it that?
Sure, it would work on a flat Earth.
Honestly, bro. Check its own reasoning, it will tell you.
Wait, what was that? What was that?
Just ask your ChatGPT to check the fallacious reasoning in its own post.
So what do you want me to say to it exactly?
Oh my god.
Wait,
I gotta get one. Why don't you type this into it? If something measures flat, what is it? Type that into it.
Okay, that's kind of a different thing, but...
Not really.
Well, don't you want to know what the answer is?
Level, I'm assuming?
Is level flat?
Yeah.
Got him.
Absolutely.
Are the oceans of the world level? Do we have sea level?
Yeah, we have sea level, but that doesn't mean that's not the same definition of level. Like
there is no other definition of level.
Well, there's leveling up in a game. Like I'm level.
Well, there's not level.
Obviously, we're not talking about that.
Well, you said someone just said there's no other definition of level. I just said there.
In terms of like, it doesn't mean curved, bro.
Come on, bro.
Got him.
Okay.
Fuck the ChatGPT. Honestly, it's due to Earth's curvature, blah, 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 blah. If there's no Earth's curvature, then it's cooked. Doesn't even matter anything that just said. There has to be curvature for all this to be true. Problem is, there is no curvature.
Propose a model to understand how the sun would even reach that. And we're not even proposing a model. And on top of that, right, like he said, we're going off of curvature.
Could you propose a model?
I don't propose a model. I just know that what I see is flat.
Okay, so you guys as the flat earthers don't propose a model, but all of human science and technology.
Well, obviously they would propose a model for you to be comfortable with, so they can control you, bro.
Okay. Why would...
We're not trying to control you. We're just trying to tell you to test and see.
Where did this conspiracy start that the Earth is a globe?
It's not a conspiracy. Oh,
so you're saying the Earth
again,
is a globe?
this started with ancient civilizations before you and me and all of us were alive. Do you know that? This has been alive before we were even alive. So it doesn't even really matter like of where it really started. Just know that it's been here.
So, okay, in order for there to be like a conspiracy theory, that means like people are in on it and...
But you're saying conspiracy, but how is this conspiracy when it's... Wait, hold on. You're calling something conspiracy that's been proven to be, well, I guess true. So you can't really call that conspiracy.
Are you saying the Earth has been proven to be true, that it's flat?
No, well, drop over distance has been proven false on a globe.
Okay, we're not... Okay, that one thing is not...
Well, that's curvature. That you have to... Isn't that everything about your globe is curvature, right?
Your misunderstanding of that math is not...
It's not our misunderstanding of math, dude.
You're not understanding. That's the problem.
Okay, then let's go down this rabbit hole. Give me the exact math that you guys are using to prove the Earth is not spherical.
Just so you know, it's not our math. It's not flat earther math. Right?
You're going to send me a picture of...
Hold on a second. Just because a flat earther says 2 + 2 = 4 doesn't mean it's wrong. You guys have this weird syndrome called everything a flat earther says is wrong syndrome. So if I take the Earth's globe math and give it back to you, you're going to say, your math is wrong. You're doing it wrong. It's not our math, bro. You guys always do this. I'll give you an Earth curvature calculator created by globe earthers. We're going to cite the math for you, and you're going to say, no, it's wrong. This is your math, dude. It's not flat earther math.
I never said anything about, like, I'm going to say this.
Just said we're interpreting it wrong.
I've just said I'm just going to analyze the math and see... Well, actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to have ChatGPT analyze your guys' math and see what's up.
That's fine.
So where's the math? I'm awaiting the math.
Okay, there's a video. I'll get it for you.
Because you guys always go...
It's just funny how, like, Lobies always use ChatGPT when I've never used that to find out the truth about this. Like, I find that so hilarious that you guys need that much.
Maybe because you're untrusting of things that don't deserve your trust.
Like, I always tell people, I never met these guys at all. And how we came to all the same conclusion makes no sense, but it makes sense, obviously, in the long terms of things, because there's truth in this somehow or some way.
And that's all. I mean,
I'm
supposed to do the searching before you yap. But what you guys do is you yap first, and then you chat GBT later to try to see if you can catch up. You're supposed to do the research first before you speak on it. But it's fine. I'll get you the math for you.
Kind of true, but I don't know everything. I don't know everything as an individual person.
Yeah, but if you just rely on a freaking bot for everything, what are you really learning, bro?
It's just a large language model. It's just getting me information faster than what I can find on Google.
That's not what he asked you.
Google wants you to see ads. Okay, what did he ask me?
Right. You can ask it, and your AI will even admit that it's restricted and limited in certain ways, and it's going to be bound to those restrictions. So it's not going to tell you any information.
Yeah, it's limited.
Exactly.
It's faster and more accurate than just like typing something into Google.
You just missed what he said. That's not accurate at all. It's not accurate. You just called it accurate.
You think it's not accurate? I think it's accurate. There we go. We'll agree to disagree.
Cool. That's fine.
So I'm awaiting the math.
I got you.
The fact that it can make fallacious arguments and you could actually correct it, that shows you that it's not true.
Okay,
look, we can keep it.
Let's instead of going down that rabbit hole, let's focus on the math that will prove Earth is not spherical. I'm awaiting that math.
Well, we just use your own math against you.
Pause everything.
From your own globe tards. Jump on to Google since you love it so much and type in Earth curve calculator.
How about you just give me the math?
I got you.
How about you start listening?
Hold on, I can do it for him.
You want me to go out and find it? Like what?
No.
I got you. Just stop yapping for a second, Kara. I've got the math for you.
I appreciate that, Christian.
Simple video. It's a very simple video from a channel called Brain Stuff. It's like 60 seconds long. And this guy talks about how high off the ground you would be, and then the distance to the horizon. He's going to talk about
that's exactly what I was going to say. You guys were going to say. Okay. You're going to give me some distance over the horizon, and you're going to say that we shouldn't be able to see this thing.
Kara, you asked for the math. Let it be provided. And remember, this is not from flat earthers. You got to keep that in mind. I know you're having a flat earther tell you
that's fine.
And you're going to say it's wrong because we told you it. But this is, again, from a channel called Brain Stuff, How Stuff Works. This is not flat earther stuff. Listen closely.
Cool. I wasn't going to knock it even if it was from flat earthers.
Relax.
where you're standing and how far above water you're standing. Let's say that you are in the water, right? And you're up to, say, your eyes are about 8 inches above the water surface. Well, again, remember the Earth is curved, and despite the ocean seeming flat, they actually curve themselves, which if you've ever really looked at the horizon, it kind of goes like this a little bit, which is pretty cool. But it also goes like this, right? So if your eyes are 8 inches above the water, right then you're about a mile away from that horizon point where the sky.
We gotta slow down. He's just gonna give you some quick numbers. If you want the link, I'll put it in the chat.
I'd prefer the link instead of just trying to like discern.
Relax. We're on YouTube, so other people want to hear it as well. You don't seem like you want the answers you're asking for, but since we're live, we're gonna play the video. Shut the fuck up for a second. We'll post the link as soon as it's finished. It's like 10 more seconds.
All right.
This a little bit, which is pretty cool. But it also goes like this, right? So if your eyes are 8 inches above the water, right then you're about a mile away from that horizon point where the sky meets the ocean, as far as you can tell. If you're standing up above water and you're like, I am about 6 feet tall, that means your eyes are about 5.5 feet above the water's edge, which means that you're about 3 miles away from the horizon.
Okay, now let's do a quick Google search. I'm just gonna go to Google and search, how far can I see? Boom. You can see roughly 3 miles before the horizon. Boom, right there, first thing that comes up. Now, this exactly matches what he said in the video. Remember, this is not flat earther math.
Okay.
They're saying that if you're 6 foot tall, your distance to the horizon would be 3 miles. If you're 8 inches above the water, the distance would be 1 mile to the horizon. They're saying that the horizon, and that boats go over, everything, the sun goes behind, etc.
Okay.
You tracking so far? Let me get the link for you.
I'm tracking so far.
Cool. Now, this is math that you can put to test in the real world. This is really where the rubber meets the road. If this math doesn't stack up in real life, then this whole idea like, well, depending on the Earth's curvature, blah, 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 nothing even matters if there is no curvature, which is testable. As you heard him say in the video, exactly the numbers you can test.
Okay, how many miles can we see?
3 miles to the horizon.
Yeah. Just make sure you're paying attention.
All right, there's the link in the chat. Now, we'll get you an image here. It's already been posted, but I'm going to grab another one.
No, not an ad.
Something. Yeah, I know the ad was brutal.
I hate ads.
Okay. Boom, copy image and paste.
The oil tankers. Oh my gosh.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you seen this before?
I have. And this is a classic, like, not to like poop on you guys, but like this is such a
One second, Garrett. 1 second, buddy. Hold on 1 second. If you've seen it before, why don't you tell us the argument?
Okay, you're saying based on this math calculation of how far we should be able to see, we're seeing objects that we shouldn't be able to see, or we're seeing the horizon past objects we shouldn't be able to see. But there's so many other factors and like things that could explain that, like perspective.
Okay. Yeah, we know. Those are our variables, by the way. Just so you know, just one thing to keep in mind is that the only variable that you need is this horizon, the hump, the curve of the Earth. That's the only variable that you need to worry about. Because our argument is that there's tons of variables for why the horizon is and does what it does. Perspective, refraction, weather conditions, how tall you are above the horizon. All these variables play into factor, and the only variable we're stripping away from you is this Earth being curved, this horizon, hump, etc. That's the only variable you need to worry about. So, why don't you tell us, where's the horizon in this image?
It looks like A.
Correct. So, and now you understand why the oil rigs are there, or do you want us to walk you through that?
Yeah, I get why the oil rigs are there. They're off the coast of wherever those oil rigs are at. I don't know the exact location, but
Santa Barbara.
What's the purpose?
I don't see the
purpose
problem.
of the rigs. Okay, well, we'll walk you through
the rigs is to show you how far away you're seeing.
Correct. Exactly. Because if you were just looking over the ocean, you don't have a way to gauge how far exactly you're looking. So those oil rigs give us a distance marker so we can exactly see, kind of gauge how far we're looking. So if the horizon is at A, then it has to be behind at least farther than 9.41 miles, at least. Now I'll show you, since you say you don't see the problem, let me post one more thing for you here. This is from an Earth curve calculator. This is in orthographic view here. Now, there's the blue arrow, which represents our observer height. This is 1 foot above the surface. Got a camera at 1 foot. The dotted line would represent your line of sight. The green line, that curved green line, would represent the water. D1 is your distance to the horizon. that would be at 1.22 miles. Remember, the video said if you're 8 inches above the water, the distance to the horizon would be 1 mile. Since the camera is 1 foot, just a few more inches than 8 inches.
Okay.
Now our distance to the horizon is at 1.22. So the number just scales up a little bit. Now, that red arrow represents our second oil rig. And the problem here is that we're seeing the water behind the rig there. I circled a little question mark behind it. We're seeing that green line. The horizon, or the curvature of the Earth, is supposed to be blocking your view of this horizon that we're actually seeing in reality. That's the problem.
But wouldn't that be explained by atmospheric refraction?
That's our
downward
argument.
as it travels through layers of air with different temperatures.
You still need a geometric horizon, though. So
Okay,
we can take that geometric horizon away. Go ahead.
The maths for your so-called atmospheric refraction, all they do is just assume the ball is bigger. So instead of the 1.22 miles that's written up there, that gets jumped up to 1.29 miles. And for the case of extreme refraction, 1.34.
Okay.
So if you wish to do the calculation again at 1.34, you're more than welcome to do so.
So
the results don't differ.
And we've got to keep in mind the thing that you need the most is the curve of the Earth, just like in your ChatGPT answer. Due to the curvature of the Earth, which is supposed to be right there, that's the only thing you really need, which we can take away right here, right now. And what you should do, honestly, you don't have to believe us. You can go do these observations on your own.
Well, what do you want me to believe?
Water that's big enough. Don't believe in it. Just believe the Earth. Because the Earth isn't going to lie to you. We're not lying to you, but if you think we are, just go trust the Earth. It's not going to lie to you.
This doesn't prove a flat Earth, though.
Yes, it does.
Or disprove global Earth.
It does definitely. It just proves globe Earth because they say that after 3 miles, there's a drop over curvature.
Remember, he said at 6 foot tall, here's the distance, the farthest you can see is 3 miles. We're seeing like 10, 15, 20 miles here, bro.
So
remember, I know you're going to say, but there's other variables.
This is coming from the globe creators, right?
That's called
remember,
a superior mirage.
Hold on. Listen. Your horizon is supposed to be physical. The thing that boats go over, the thing that the sun goes behind when there's a sunset, it's a physical curve of the Earth. So when you say, well, it's optical, blah, 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 that's our argument. You don't realize that you're making an argument for us. The horizon being an optical thing that moves around, that's our point. The only thing you need to worry about is the horizon being physical, the curve of the Earth. He said it in the video. Due to the Earth's curvature, you'd be this is the distance you can see.
Okay,
right?
So you're saying if the Earth was spherical, the rig should be hidden behind Earth's curvature?
No, I'm just saying that there would be a geometric horizon. There would be a curvature of the Earth, which is not there.
There is a curvature of the Earth in that image.
Where? Oh, whoa. Where?
What image are you talking about?
The top line, A. You can see that it's...
That's not the curvature of the Earth.
That's where
no.
the end
That's
of
not the curvature of the Earth.
If that's the case, it would be in front of those rigs.
So, did you know that all he would have to do is zoom in more? If his camera had a bigger zoom in, that horizon that you see there would not be there. It would be a new horizon.
Just to fill you in a little more, that image that you so hate all of a sudden is off of video footage. That's just one frame out of video.
Right.
I think another way that you might understand this is Carrot, listen. If you just said A, look at that. It's the curvature of the Earth, and you point at A. I think it might help you to understand this. If that were the curvature of a sphere, then that would mean that the Earth has a radius of 250,000 miles. It's more like the size of Jupiter. So do you believe that's true?
Why would that mean that?
And that would actually debunk what they say anyway.
Because in order for the horizon to be that far away at that height, over a body of water, it would have to be that big.
Why would it have to be that big? Why can't they just be explained by an optical...
Okay, Karen,
it's a little too explicit.
You've got to remember, this mathematics is based on the information given to us. The claimed radius is 3,959 miles. That's the claimed radius that comes with the helio model, or this ball that you believe you live on. So if you believe you live on a ball, you've also got to have the little tag that comes with it, R3959. From that, we can work out how tall you have to be, and this is what the Earth curve calculators are for, how tall you have to be to see over said horizon. You know, the furthest you can see where the sky appears to meet the ground.
No, Carrot, do you even know your own model? Do you even know the model you're trying to defend, or what are you doing?
It's just tough because you're not allowing anything, you're not allowing any, like, any other explanation besides...
No, there are tons of other explanations.
The Earth is a sphere because of this math.
You got to listen closely, buddy.
Not what we're saying.
We are allowing the other variables, which is what I've been saying. Those are our variables.
Those other variables explain why that phenomenon...
Those variables show why it's optical. You even said it's an illusion. This means it's optical. The only variable, you just need one variable to debunk everything. You need one variable. physical curve of the Earth. So when you say, well, there's other variables like these other optical phenomena, yeah, I know. That's our point, dude. That's our point. That would explain physical.
It. That would. Okay.
No, that explains it for us. That explains it for us.
Okay, then
you don't realize you're making our argument for us. I typed it in the chat, so it was very clear.
How
you just need the horizon to be physical. That's it.
What you do, grab yourself 3 buckets. On one bucket, write flat Earth. On the other bucket, write globe Earth, as in sphere. And on the third one, write both. And what you do, come up with an explanation. Bagak, refraction. Does refraction work on a flat Earth? Does refraction work on a ball Earth? Does refraction work on both?
Right, but you're saying...
And what you do is you put them, hold on, don't get too excited. You're already trying to make excuses for excuses. You put them in the bucket. And you will find 90% of the shit will land in the both bucket. Not much stuff will land in the globe.
Okay.
The one thing that wouldn't go
I originally asked for math that would disprove the Earth.
Yep. 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's your equation. Go out and do your own observations and assign that equation to what you're looking at.
That's a side point.
That's not a side point, that's the equation. You asked specifically for the mathematics, I just gave it to you.
I asked mathematics.
1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. You're laughing because I gave you what you asked for.
Yeah, that was
okay. Okay, so we use that math on our image, and you're saying, oh, the math should limit our sight to a distance before.
No, math does not limit your sight.
No, they're saying the physical curve of the Earth, the hump of the curve of the Earth is the thing that would block your vision. We just looked it up on Google. We watched it in a video. I don't know what else to tell you. The only thing that would not go in the flat earther bucket in this example, Carrot, relax. Yes, it does. Hold on a second. The only thing that wouldn't go in the flat earther bucket is that physical curve of the Earth. That's the only thing that's all you need. I don't know how you don't see this. That's all you need is the curvature of the Earth.
The reason why you see all that is because
you don't have that.
It's an optical illusion, bro.
Yes, saying listen, you're just repeating yourself. Saying it's optical.
So there's no problem with the image.
Carrot. There is Carrot. God, dude, I gotta pop him on mute, guys, for a second. He's just repeating himself. Saying it's optical destroys your entire worldview. That's our point. I don't know how to make it more clear. You need the horizon to be physical, the thing that boats go over. It's not physical. You're even telling us yourself that it's optical. Gotta wake up, dude. Make sure you go clip this and rewatch this back on YouTube so you can hear yourself saying it over and over. It's optical, it's optical, it's optical. We know that. That's our point. And you say, well, you're not allowing for all these other variables showing why it's optical. That's our literally entirety, our point, bro. You just need one thing, physical curve. You can't give us that. No one can.
Each other a little bit.
No, we're definitely not. It could not be more clear. We looked it up on Google. You can see 3 miles to the horizon.
I'm going to quickly summarize what just took place. I asked for the math that would concretely disprove. Let's
and I gave it to you.
We gave it to you.
Matrix, you can rattle off that equation again. It's 1 what?
1.22.
1 what?
Okay.
Times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So, however tall you is, 1 foot, 2 foot, 10 foot, you might be huge, I don't know. You might be standing on a ladder, 15 foot. You might be up on a high cliff, I don't know. Wherever your observation height is, off of the water.
Okay, so you're saying that this image...
So, elevation...
1 foot.
So, square root of that. Whatever your observation height is, square root of that. Times 1.22. That's it. Or if you hate doing maths, just use the Earth curve calculator, because it does it for you.
And I posted all the screenshots in the chat for you. All this math is straight up from a Glob Earth curve
I would like
calculator.
an opportunity to talk for a second.
But you got to listen, though, because we've already explained everything to you.
Look at that.
So what happens is, when you punch that data into an Earth curve calculator, like the one that Creation Bears put up, it gives you how far the horizon should be based off of that elevation and also the radius of 3959 miles. So that's what you've got to remember. If you believe in the ball, you also believe the radius is 3959 miles. That's not negotiable.
And height of object does not matter, Guardian.
When we observe further than that, the only way to make that correct is to make the radius bigger. That's why they said earlier that this disproves the ball.
Explain the issue with that math on that image.
Well, the issue with that math is the math doesn't have a problem. 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. The observation height is 1 foot. Square root of 1 is 1 times 1.22 equals 1.22. So the horizon, that line that appears at the furthest distance where the sky appears to meet the ground or water, should be at 1.22 miles. The problem is, we know how far them oil rigs are. They're just demarcation. It'd be much better if they were traffic cones. Nice and simple. There's where the markers are. The horizon should be in front of those oil rigs. That's
right.
it.
And my response to that is that formula and that picture with that map.
Your response was atmospheric refraction.
Refraction. Yes, exactly.
Okay, now stop. That's where, if you're going to assume some form of refraction, you would have to, number one, prove it, which is going to be somewhat entertaining off of a photo. But if you wish to have large amounts of refraction, instead of timesing by 1.22, moderate refraction, 1.29, extreme refraction, 1.34. So how about we change that now? 1 times 1.34 equals 1.34 miles. Now, how far out those oil rigs again? Let's scroll back up because I've lost them. There we go. The closest one is 6.21 miles. So the horizon, assuming you've got some bullshit amount of refraction, or atmospheric refraction, as you called it, would be halfway between the observer and those oil rigs.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's with your refraction. So what it means is, number one, it's flat, or it's a ball that's a lot larger. And based on the back oil rig, so capping it at 10 miles, based on that, using the so-called formulas, it works out that the ball should be a radius of something like 250 to 270,000 miles. Do you think the Earth is 270,000 mile radius? No. That's just retarded, isn't it? Right.
Yeah,
the other thing to look at, if it is a ball of that radius, every single astronomical unit gets thrown out the shithouse because everything is based off the Earth's radius. That's the problem. Is it's not just, oh, look, the radius is wrong. No. Every single astronomical measurement, distance to the sun, distance to the moon, all of that shit gets thrown out the window because it's all based off one measurement, the Earth's radius. Pretty hardcore. Okay. I know it's a lot to take in one sitting, but yeah, you'll be right, mate.
Okay, I see.
Love your work, Matrix.
W.
Cheers, mate.
We need a Donna Marco.
It's so comforting hearing someone explain something to him in a simple Australian accent.
No, mate.
Yeah, did you understand him?
I understand him, yeah. He's saying that with refraction, it would only change the equation by like a tiny percent, like 15%.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what they claim anyway.
So the really cool part about this is there's heaps of these long distance observations that should not be possible. Like at 29 past the hour, you can see the two images I chucked up there. On the coastline one there that you can see, which is a pretty cool drone shot, if you click on it and have a look, see where the cars are all parked in that half circle down the bottom?
Yeah.
From that point there, from the centre of that roundabout, we'll call it, and then scroll up to the top of the image, and if you have a look across the horizon, you can see right up on the right-hand side where the cliff stops. Along the horizon, you can see it step down. So from the centre of that roundabout, right to the point of that cliff, is 143 miles.
Right.
Now, it's estimated that that image is taken from about 300 foot to 500 foot. Now, if you punch in 500 feet observation height in an Earth curve calculator, and then you put in 143 miles, you'll work out something like about 9,000 feet of curvature. Does that image look like it's got 9,000 feet of hidden curvature where it's bent at the back so you can see it?
No.
No. This is just a sample of reality, mate. This is why we tell people, go out and have a look for yourself. You know the formula now. It's super basic. And like I said, if you don't like doing maths, and some people just hate it with a passion, just jump on Google Earth Curve Calculator. Punch in the distance. Punch in your elevation. And it will tell you how far you should be seeing. And if you happen to have a set of binoculars or a telescope or something that allows you to see a lot further, and you're sitting there going, hang on a minute, this shit ain't right, well, guess what? It's probably correct because it's not right.
So, you guys think that... Well, hold on. How do I say this?
Here comes the straw man.
Refraction explains how light from the oil rig reaches the observer beyond the normal horizon and is well understood in optics and meteorology.
Good luck.
The black swan image shows a refractive phenomenon, not a violation.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold up a second. Can you post up the link of the webpage that you're reading for everyone?
It's ChatGPT.
I'm reading ChatGPT.
Yeah, but it's going to go to a site. It doesn't. ChatGPT doesn't come up with this. It's got to be a site that it's taken you to. A reference. There'll be a reference there.
No, it's just its own thoughts.
Yeah, but when it says the Earth's curvature, that's that physical geometric horizon that we're saying that you have to have. That's not there. He doesn't know that back in literally back when I first joined this whole discussion, 2017, this was what all the argument was about. Horizon. Was it physical? Was it optical? Flat earthers were saying things like, well, there's perspective, there's refraction, there's all types of variables like weather. And they said, no, it's the physical curve of the Earth. So when you say, well, there's like refraction and all these other variables, that's our point, dude. You don't realize it, dude. All you need is a physical curve of the Earth.
Well, I'm saying that refraction is why you can see further than what you would expect you would see.
Yeah, because that's what you just read that. Yeah, you just read that in the article. Now, have they got a demonstration that would show the refractive index to be at almost 1?
So you need to say that. Right? You have to say that. But no other choice but to say that if you want to keep your ball.
Please don't take my ball.
That's like
coming home and saying, "Oh, honey, I was
thing to think
at the club. Your Barney wanted me to stay and have a chat." Yeah.
What did you say? Is
I didn't get. Remember earlier when we were talking about Antarctica and the 24-hour sun?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because if you measure the surface, if you measure the surface to be flat, the sun is doing whatever it does on a flat surface. So it doesn't matter.
What do you mean, whatever it does? Do you understand?
Because you're gonna straw man a map, and you're gonna say that Antarctica. They're giving you a map that Antarctica is on the outside of this flat plane, right, encompassing the whole of the known Earth, right?
Antarctica is on the south, is like the South Pole.
Oh my God! You don't. You have
to see real in-person pictures of the edges.
Hey, shut the fuck up. So you're not listening again, right? You're not listening again.
Go ahead, Timbo.
I said in the article that you read out about that final experiment that's not an experiment. It says.
So what do you believe it is? Like it's CGI?
Bro, what the fuck?
Bro, there was a 24-hour live stream of the sun in Antarctica.
It was due to curvature. We just took the curvature away. You're done.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you?
So
wait,
it said,
go ahead.
What it said was, it said, just hang on. It said, if the Earth was flat on the flat Earth model, and it presents you a model, right? Now they're presenting something to debunk. It's not ours. We don't claim that model. They're debunking their own straw man.
Yeah, it's proving the Earth is a sphere on top of debunking the flat Earth.
Hold on.
How would you?
We've already got rid of that curvature bit. So how can you have a sphere with no curvature?
Bro,
that's the point.
Okay,
you don't realize it. It said it was due to Earth's curvature.
Yeah, that is a pretty big point. If I have a sphere, a major component of that sphere is its curvature. If I have no curvature, what shape do I have?
I don't know. We didn't establish that there was no curvature.
Yeah, we did. That's what the Black Swan destroys.
You said, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're just starting to catch on. I know it hurts.
Don't reset. Do not reset. We just
don't reset, please. Yeah, okay. And I explained to you about refraction.
That's an excuse.
Now,
just an excuse.
But there can be more refraction.
Let's go through it again. Let's go through it again, nice and steady. 1.34 times 1. What does that give you? 1.34 for the kids at the back of the bus. Excellent. Now, is 1.34 before or after the oil rigs?
Before.
Oh.
Excellent. So when we look at that image, the horizon should be clearly before those oil rigs. Is it? Yes or no?
No, the horizon is not before the oil rigs.
Yeah, excellent. So you have two options. Number one.
No,
okay, I'm going to give you two options now. Based on that image, we've debunked the radius of 3959 miles. You now have two options. Number one, it has a radius of 250 to 270,000 miles. Or option number two, it's flat.
I think that there's a stronger refraction than the standard refraction.
That's not standard. That was extreme. We could take you back to standard, which was 1.29.
It could have 6 to 10 miles plus.
Okay, just so you know. Okay, hold on, Creation Bear. We've just got to let him fill him in here. I told you earlier how this was off a video, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, the problem is, and this is something you don't know because you haven't seen the video or asked for it yet, which I find surprising. Prior to that shot that's frozen there, there's an island over in the background that's 30 miles away.
I'll post it. I'll post it right now.
We're getting away from
Doctor, you've got a problem. I don't care what they saw down in Antarctica. They could have seen penguins camping in their tents. It doesn't matter. Because if you've got no curvature, you've got no ball. Full stop.
They showed the curvature.
No, they didn't. They showed the sun up in the sky. That's it.
Yeah, they showed it.
Can I ask you a question? If I got you to recarpet your lounge room, would you go and measure your ceiling?
No.
Or stare at the light bulb? Why? Why would you measure the floor?
Because I know a little bit about carpentry.
Excellent. So you wouldn't look up at the ceiling at all, would you?
No.
If you knew anything about carpentry, you'd know that carpentry's got nothing to do with carpets.
Yeah, I know.
So you're telling me they've gone down to Antarctica and they've looked up in the sky and this proves the ground. And then in the next breath you've told me that when we're working on the ground, we look on the ground.
Are we not able to think a little bit more like...
Okay, then how about we step it up a notch if you want to think. Let's do this properly. You wanted to step it up to the next level. I want you using the TFE, trip to Antarctica, to put in a logical syllogism for all the panel on how a 24-hour sun proves that you live on a sphere. Please.
Already tried that.
That's very simple to do. I already did that, actually. Let me scroll up.
No, you didn't put it in a logical syllogism, though. You just gave an explanation from an article of why the Earth can't be flat because we saw a 24-hour sun. And you strawmanned a model.
It said due to curvature, right? Which we just took away from your dumbass. So it's
you put it in a logical.
I love the way you guys like talk and argue. It's so funny.
Yeah, facts.
It's all based on measurements.
That's so funny.
I mean, facts.
What's funny about the way we argue?
The one American guy that's like, I think his name, he's right under me, Creation Bear. He's like, wait, what did you say? The curvature. He's like, you need the curvature, which we took away from your dumbass. Like that is just, that is so funny.
Yeah,
to hear. Okay.
Look, that's all you need.
Put it in a logical syllogism.
So it's over. Go ahead.
All right, so put it into a
premise one. Okay, you want me to just paste it into the?
Yeah, paste it and then read it out.
Okay, bang. Control C, Control V. Okay. Premise 1. If the Earth is a rotating sphere tilted on its axis, then during Antarctic summer, the sun will remain above the horizon for 24 hours a day, the midnight sun. Premise 2.
You prove. Go ahead.
You want me to prove, like...
Premise 1, but go with premise 2. Go with premise 2, that's right.
Yeah, keep reading. We'll rip it apart afterwards.
Premise 2 states, during Antarctic summer, the sun is observed to remain above the horizon for 24 hours a day. Conclusion. Therefore, the Earth is a rotating sphere tilted on its axis.
What the fuck? AI gave you that?
That's a perfect modus ponens,
okay.
I mean.
Okay, prove premise 1 then.
The model predicts the phenomenon. The flat Earth model cannot reproduce or explain it without contradiction. The observation matches only...
We don't have a model. I've already explained this to you. They're giving you a...
Then you're not living on Earth.
Character detector.
What? The fuck?
What? Your premises...
You don't have a model.
We never claim one.
On Earth. That's retarded.
No model that you...
Okay, all the rest of humanity does. We use maps and...
You don't know that.
All right? We don't have a model. Do you know why? Because
why?
You can't have a model of reality.
What do you mean? What is a model to you guys? Like, what does that mean?
A model is a scientific model, right?
Right. Like
the explanation is to explain all things on the Earth.
Okay, let's get back to this syllogism. What's wrong with the syllogism?
Just listen. You don't have a model either. So stop.
Yeah, I do.
Saying,
the Earth is a sphere.
Yeah, where's the model? Where's the model?
Okay, where's the problem with the syllogism? What's
proof premise 1?
Premise 1 squad.
Is that how
Premise 1 seems a bit loaded, if you ask me. If the Earth is a rotating sphere tilted on its axis, this has to be proven. You're claiming that as a base axiom. It is not. It has to be proven. So you've got to prove that. Anyways, then during Antarctic summer, the sun will remain above the horizon for 24 hours a day. So slightly loaded. Why do we need to tag on then during the Antarctic summer? What's that about?
It sounds like circular logic more than more than logic.
Affirming the consequent. Yep.
Well, you're stating a premise that's never been proven.
It's based on geometry of
T1 has never been proven, and then T2 is saying because this thing that's never been proven, I'm going to use that. Then, if we see a 24-hour sun, then the Earth is a globe spinning on its axis. It's circular reasoning.
For the syllogism to be sound, both premise 1 and premise 2 must be true or demonstrably supported.
Excellent. So demonstrate it. So demonstrate it. If the Earth is a rotating sphere, tilted on its axis. So number one, you've got to demonstrate that it's rotating, and number two, you've got to demonstrate that it's tilted, and to add insult to injury, the word sphere in there, you've got to demonstrate it's a ball.
So the AI didn't even give you a logical syllogism.
Right. Even our biggest hater in here right now thinks it's bullshit. He just posted it in the chat.
Who?
Lego. He said, "Hey, the problem is that this one is not valid. The conclusion doesn't follow."
Yep.
Nice. And this guy hates flat earthers, by the way. Carrot. So
the AI is not that smart, right? You guys just use AI for everything.
I think
you kids use it for. Why do you keep on fucking interrupting me?
Go ahead. I didn't mean to. That's why I stopped
use it for. Oh my god. You kids use it for fucking assignments and shit like that. I would stop using it for that shit and just do your own research. It just gave you just asked it for a logical syllogism and it gave you a fucking circular reasoning argument.
Logical syllogism. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, but it doesn't follow.
How? What? Okay, give me exactly what I need to say to disprove the logical
stop using the fucking AI, dude. Use your 2 remaining brain cells and rub them together as hard as you can. Maybe you'll figure some shit out.
You said P1 and P2. P1 and P2 have to be proven facts.
See, what you're trying to do is prove a globe, right? That's what you're trying to do. So your claim is the 24-hour sun proves a globe. But here, in the first sentence, if the Earth is a rotating sphere, so it's telling you it is. So you're using a statement that it is to prove that it is.
You can't use the thing you're trying to prove with the thing you're trying to prove.
Oh, this is so painful.
You can see how broken the logic is, can't you?
No, it's perfectly sound, but your guys don't understand.
Of course it's perfectly sound. It's perfectly sound because you're indoctrinated into it has to be a ball, it has to be a ball, it has to be a ball. And because that says Voltard, you agree with it. You don't understand that the logic's broken.
Well, it's perfectly sound because it's perfectly sound. That's his argument again.
Like, even Lego is one of our biggest ops right now. He does not like the flat earthers. He thinks it's bullshit. Even he's in the chat saying it's wrong. It's not valid. It's not sound. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. You should think about that. He's on your side.
Out why
He's trying to help you out. He's on your team.
Get back onto ChatGPT and type in there. This logic is fallacious. Try again, please.
Yeah, try that. Yeah, I'm interested in what it would say.
It's just
maybe ChatGPT's a globe card.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's just ignore this for now or table it.
Yeah, facts.
How would a sun?
So can I just recap? So you've given up on satellites in space, and now you've given up on Earth being a sphere because there's a 24-hour sun. So that's two you've given up on. Is that right?
I believe in satellites in space. That's not a huge It's not like believing in unicorns. Like there are satellites in space.
Yes, it is.
Worse.
Remember when you said you get a picture of a satellite and you never got one?
Yeah, and then I sent you a 24-hour live stream of.
No, that's not what we asked for, Ding Dong. Because remember when we posted pictures of the satelloons? Not what the satelloons would be taking images of, the actual satelloon itself. And you said, well, I can post pictures of satellites. And you're like, well, here's a stream.
Okay, well, you're going to say
not
this
even
AI.
what was asked. No, that wasn't even what was asked of you.
Okay, I got you.
All right, go ahead and post a picture of the satellite.
No, you don't.
You're going to say it's AI or it's...
No, just post it. Just post it. Just post a real one.
It depends which one you post. Each one of them's got their own issues.
Post this like an hour ago, by the way. Just so
Dang!
You know.
Oh, shit. It's not copying. Wait, can I not send images here?
If you can't, just DM it to somebody. Or link, yeah.
Copy image.
That's crazy. He's probably going to post a live stream of Earth from a satellite.
No, it's not a live stream. It's just an image, but it's not letting me paste into the chat.
Image of what? A satellite?
It's just a picture of a satellite from Earth. Or of the ISS.
From Earth?
Oh, a picture of the ISS.
No, that's not what was asked of you, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, let's just pull this thing apart.
Want a picture of a satellite?
How big is the ISS?
That's what you said you would post.
Doctor? How big is the ISS?
I don't know.
You don't know? Because you should have a look at how big it is, and then have a look at how far away you'd be looking at it from, and think about if you'd even be able to resolve it as an image.
How the fuck can I send this? What the heck?
Just DM it to somebody, bro.
Send it to me, and I'll post it up. As long as it complies with TOS, you'll be right.
Okay, I got you. Do you need like Discord Nitro for this? Oh, no you don't. Okay. I sent you a picture of a satellite from Earth.
From Earth. Why not just have another satellite in space take a picture of a satellite in space? What the fuck is that?
That's what he sent me.
Bro.
What? That's what he sent me. I'll just pass him on. Done.
That's not a very good picture, so I'm going to try to find a better one. It's kind of small and dark. Bro, what the heck? Oh, what about that SpaceX video of the Tesla?
Oh my god.
SpaceX picture. I mean, that's not a
What
satellite,
about
it's
it?
clearly a car.
I think that does it for me, chat. I'm gonna roll out. You guys have a great rest of your night. Shout out to the Kangaroo guys, and shout out to Zeka as well, bro. It's been cooking as well. Have a good rest of your night. Shout out to the Carrot for the content. Yeah,
God bless.
See ya.
All right, boys. All right, peace.
Catch up.
All right.
Bro, I just can't send images. Crazy. I think I got perms removed, maybe. Well, I'm the only person in here that believes in a globe, so I'm kind of the smartest guy in here.
I'm glad you said belief.
Well, I'm the only person in here that believes in a globe, so I'm kind of the smartest guy in here.
I'm glad you said belief. You don't know it's a globe, you just believe it. I love that. That's awesome.
I could say the same thing to you. Like, you don't know.
No, we know it's flat because it's measured flat. This is the
You
big
know
thing.
it's flat because of an image of 2 oil rigs.
What's
No.
it? Carrot, pay
What's
attention
up,
to side
what's
chat.
up?
You've been gifted the ability.
Oh,
to
dude,
post.
sweet. Cool, I appreciate that. That makes my life easier.
Now that comes with a role, community role. That means every time we ping that role, you're going to get notification. Is that cool? Cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to do anything.
Keep it clean in the chat too, please.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Good shit, man.
Let me guess. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Well, it's just like, why would I think that's fake?
Do you honestly, with all your heart, believe they stuck a Tesla in space?
Yeah. Why would you not do that if you were Elon Musk? Like, you're rich as hell. You just hold on. Open your cars and
This kid is so broken.
Who's the cameraman? Who's the cameraman, buddy?
Does there have to be a cameraman?
Okay, so how's the camera sitting there?
Can someone post up the green screen of it, please? Oh man.
You know, he said. You know what he said. You know, he said he didn't change anything on that car. You know, there's
it's a toy fucking car.
Yeah, you know, there's air in the tires, right? So if that went to space, those tires would explode.
Exactly.
What?
You see that there? That's what Elon said about his own shit.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that, and that's actually true. Like, it does look kind of fake. That's how you can kind of tell that it's real.
You're a fucking idiot, man. Seriously. Oh my god.
Comedian.
He's fucking cucked, man. They've got him. There is no getting him out of that. It must be real because it looks so fake. Now he's repeating what Elon Musk said and saying, yeah, that's how we know it's real.
Why didn't the astronaut turn his head at all? That person in the car. Why would he just step forward?
Because that's not an astronaut in the car.
Nah, he's American.
What side of Earth is that? Where's all the land?
There's no person in the car.
Waterworld or something? Is this Waterworld?
Oh, where is the land?
I don't know. It's all the continents.
So, like, every image from NASA is fake. Like, everything from any government that goes to space is just all fake.
This is your story.
I mean, I'm asking you, like...
Yeah,
oh, you just made a statement. Oh.
Well, if there's no curvature and they're showing a curved water ball Earth, yeah, it's fake.
Bro, you just said that you believe it because it looks fake.
So where are the images?
How easy are you to fool, brother?
Where are the images of the flat Earth?
They don't even need decent images from space. They just need shit that looks fake, and you're convinced. Give me a break.
I can show you a couple.
That's not an
I've never
image.
seen
Doesn't
that
convince me, dude.
car
They're
one. That's a new one to me,
like
but that's
gravity
crazy.
convinces me. The moon phases convince me.
Remember earlier about the carpentry doing your carpet? You're not staring at the light bulbs. Stop staring at the lights. Down the ground. That's what we're measuring.
That's such an ignorant thing to say. Like, don't look at the moon phases. Don't look at the sun.
Hold on. You've just made a claim. Yelling at me is not going to fucking help you. Stop it. Why the fuck would anyone in their right mind look up when they're working on the fucking ground? You're measuring the ground. Why are you staring at the lights? What is wrong with you?
Because it's another way to show or.
It doesn't prove shit. It's not the ground.
Okay, the ground that you experience is flat because you're on a massive fucking planet. You understand that?
So this is another claim.
Massive planet.
How big is it?
It's like 8,000 miles circumference.
But that goes back to our point that we're telling you there's over 3 miles, there should be curvature from our perspective of view.
Or diameter, not circumference. The circumference is like 25,000 miles.
Regardless. We can see too far.
So looking at the moon phases would tell you that the Earth is round.
Tells you nothing.
Okay, then how would there be?
It tells you nothing to do with the shape of the ground. This is where you keep getting stuck. It's like, hey, look at the lights. It's like you're a fucking bug that's mesmerized by the light on the back porch. What is wrong with you? Ooh, the lights are on. I must fly towards it.
You can't understand what I'm trying to say. Like, you refuse to understand.
Because what is in the sky has fuck all to do with the ground. So every time you say, look up into the sky, all I think, Superman.
The moon phases have
You're the one that has broken logic. Again, if you're going to measure the ground, why the fuck are you looking up into the sky, bruv? What's wrong with you?
You don't need to, but if you're trying to explain to someone that is, like, untrusting of everything, images from NASA, any sort of, like...
All stuff that you can't verify. Have you noticed that?
No, here's what I'm doing. I'm just pulling out, like, the most...
Things out of your ass. Yeah, keep going.
Understand. I'm pulling out, like, the most elementary stuff to understand. Moon phases, brother.
You're right, elementary.
I'm telling you, moon phases are proof that the Earth is round, and you're saying...
Okay, let's go there. How does the moon phases prove the shape of the ground? Yeah, before you have a meltdown, hold your breath, don't break yourself. How do the moon phases prove the shape of the ground? This is going to be great.
It proves the shape of the Earth. Thanks for muting me, by the way. I appreciate being silent.
How does it prove the shape of the ground?
Because the sun is very, very, very large, but also super far away.
So the sun being large and far away has what to do with the fucking moon phases proving the shape of the ground.
Mate, will you let me finish?
Why are you laughing whilst you're doing this? Are you telling lies or you're making shit up?
So upset at me, and you're not letting me finish.
I'm not getting upset with you. Do you know how I know? Because you're still here.
Ooh,
exactly. Now, you're telling us how your little moon phases prove the shape of the ground.
It's super easy. Let me go through it, okay? It's more than like one sentence, so you're gonna have to let me get some words in here.
Less meta.
The huge sun is far away, and when it beams its light onto Earth, and the moon, if it's ever behind the Earth, if it's in front of the Earth, if the moon is in front of the Earth, the moon is way closer to the Earth than the sun. So it's able to literally block out the entire light of the sun sometimes. That's a solar eclipse. Okay, you following? Do you agree with that?
Okay, how about we shut this shit down now? Have you heard of a Solidelion eclipse? Yes or no? Also known as the impossible
Solidelion eclipse?
Selenelion.
Selenelion eclipse. No, I haven't heard of that.
Also known as the impossible eclipse. How this works is the sun and the moon are up in the sky. You can see them both. Now, the problem is you claim that the Earth is what's causing the shadow. If both sun and moon are up in the sky and you can see them, that means Earth's not in the middle. It's not in the way. So
it means
the GIF that's on the screen now, the GIF that's on the screen now, I put up for you at 22 minutes past the hour.
Oh, great, a GIF.
Shows the impossible eclipse. So, on your baltard, please explain to everyone how that works.
Okay, how that works is the sun is way farther away than the moon is.
They're both up in the sky together. They're not behind the Earth. You need to understand that bit.
The sun is not up above us in the sky. It's In an
impossible eclipse.
Do you understand?
In an impossible eclipse. Hey, stop talking. Zip it. In an impossible eclipse, they are both visible in the sky at the same time. You pick a direction. East, you'll see the moon. West, you'll see the sun. In order for you to have your ball curve shadow, I'm quite certain the Earth has to be in between them. That's what your normal claim would be. The Earth blocks the light, leaving a curve on the moon. Well, that means the Earth has to be in the way. In an impossible eclipse, it's not. So, now that we've established that, please enlighten everyone on how it works.
Why are you muting me?
Because you're one of these kids that won't shut the fuck up and listen when it's time to listen.
I've never talked over you. Like, I always be quiet. There's no reason to mute
Tell us how the eclipse works.
Alright, but if you mute me again, then I'm gonna kick rocks.
What, you're gonna run away?
Well, I'm gonna go do other things with my time instead of just be silent.
I just want to know how the eclipse works.
Okay, let's go back to 6th grade, middle school, like...
Impossible eclipse. You might want to Google that shit first.
Okay, I don't need to do that.
Good luck, then.
The sun is super, super large and far away. The moon is very close, but smaller than the sun. So an object that's really, really far away, like a big burning ball of gas, the sun, which we orbit around, that's called heliocentrism. All the planets in our solar system revolve around the sun. It's not that the sun is just in the sky above us. That is retarded to think that. When the moon gets in between the Earth and the sun, that's what causes a solar eclipse. Now, what causes the moon phases is when the sun, or the Earth, gets in between the sun and the moon.
He's not talking about moon phases.
Okay. I was talking about moon phases, and then he brought up an impossible eclipse, like...
Yes, it's got nothing to do with moon phases.
Okay, but what does that have to do with what I was talking about? I'm talking about something that literally annihilates flat Earth. Like, you cannot have this happen. You not being able to understand it doesn't
this is the listening bit. This is the listening bit that you don't do. Impossible and headphone yourself. All right, you can stay on fucking mute and run away. Good. How long was that kid on before I turned up?
It's been a good 3 or 4 hours.
You're joking.